Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. Throwaway account since people know me on my main. I, 24 female, have been dating my partner, 32 male, for just over a year and a half now. He has a daughter from a previous relationship and we have her every weekend. She's a brilliant kid. When we have her, I'm always doing bonding activities, like doing each other's hair, makeup, cooking, etc. My partner has just recently told me that his ex has told him she's got a new job and needs to change the days we have his daughter to Tuesday to Friday, and he's told her that he can't do it because of work. He works 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. is when he gets back, but said that I could do it. He didn't even ask me if I would have his daughter, just assumed. I told him I can't do it until September because college starts back up in September, and I'm planning on finishing my college course and wanting to do other 2 courses outside the college as well and hopefully get the job I'm wanting out of it. He's calling me selfish, saying people make plans in life but sometimes they change, and his daughter looks up to me and she's going to be heartbroken. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to look after his daughter so I can go to college? Edit. We had a fight because I stood my ground and told him I want to have my education as my top priority. I've decided to move in with my parents until I get myself sorted. Thank you, Redditors. I was reading through comments and it's what pushed me to stand my ground. OP, I'm so glad you stood your ground and told your boyfriend you won't be skipping college to babysit his kid. Your boyfriend is an a-hole. Yes, plans change, which is why his plans should change, as he tries to figure out a way to take care of his daughter now that her mother has gotten a job. But instead, he's pushing all that responsibility on you like you're a hired nanny for his kid. Even if you wanted to do this for him, the way he just assumed you would quit college and babysit his child should be enough to turn you off. I would advise you to re-evaluate your relationship with him while you're with your parents. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. He didn't bother to look into childcare or ask his ex if she was capable of keeping the days as is and finding childcare herself. Instead, he simply decided you will drop out of school and become a live-in nanny for his daughter. His regard for you sounds closer to helpful property than a partner. Not the a-hole. You're not a nanny. You're not even his wife. It's the responsibility of the child's parents to figure this out. And him trying to guilt you into putting your goals and needs aside to babysit his kid because that's what's most convenient for him is bullshit. I'm looking into a crystal ball, OP, and seeing him turn you into a housewife whose needs come last every time. He doesn't respect you and clearly thinks his career is more important than yours. He is a user. Dump him and stay in school. Not the a-hole. Your partner is overstepping boundaries. It's awesome that you have an amazing relationship with his daughter, but you are not the girl's mother. You don't have any legal responsibility to take care of her. She's not your own. Just because her parents have poorly arranged their time schedule does not mean you should have to sacrifice your education. He is being manipulative and entitled. Don't let him guilt you. Story 2. I, 27 female, moved in with my boyfriend, 25 male, a few years ago because I don't get along well with my parents. Both of our names are on the lease, just so you guys know. I have 2 younger siblings, one who is irrelevant to the story, and Sarah, 19 female. Sarah recently asked me if she could move in with my boyfriend and I because our parents were being unreasonable. I talked with my boyfriend, he agreed, and she moved in about 2 weeks ago. Things have been fine, although I have noticed that my boyfriend has started to avoid my sister at all costs. My sister said that this makes her feel bad, so I sat my boyfriend down and told him to stop because it was upsetting to my sister. But I noticed that he hasn't stopped. Today, I arrived home and my boyfriend and sister were arguing. I got between them and demanded to know what was wrong. My boyfriend started talking about how my sister had made unwanted advances towards him and was peeping in on him while he was changing. My sister was close to tears and denied the allegations. I could tell that my sister was upset and she is not a liar. So I told my boyfriend that until I made up my mind on who to trust, that he was going to have to stay at a friend's house while I sorted out my feelings. He got angry and said that it was his apartment first, so I had no right to kick him out. I threatened to leave with my sister if he didn't, and that seemed to knock the sense into him. He packed a bag and left, probably to a friend's house, while I sat down with my sister, but she still denied anything. I called my boyfriend to tell him that I needed him to stay away for a few days while I got everything sorted out, and he just went off, yelling about how I had no right and that my sister was in the wrong until I just hung up because I didn't want to fight. But the longer we go without talking, the more I feel bad for kicking him out. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, OP. There's pretty much zero concrete evidence one way or another of who's lying, so instantly siding with your sister is pretty unfair, and your boyfriend has every right to be pissed about it, particularly considering it's his apartment too. Even worse, the circumstantial evidence based on their recent behavior does tend to favor the boyfriend's story. That's not proof, of course, but he was avoiding her for a reason, and of the two of them, the only one with the obvious motive to lie is your sister. Now for some comments. Your boyfriend clearly felt unsafe with your sister and you invalidated his feelings. Trying to flip the situation around, what if you felt unsafe due to his brother? Would you have liked him telling you to get out because he trusted his brother? Your partner deserves better and he might break up with you. So I hope you are prepared and don't go sobbing about it being unfair. You're the a-hole. Why would your sister admit to creeping on your boyfriend? Why would your boyfriend make that up? And what were they arguing about when you got home? It makes sense that your boyfriend would avoid her if she was creeping on him and that he wouldn't want to ruin the relationship you have with your sister by telling you. Sorry, but from the information you've given, it sounds like you're the a-hole and your boyfriend is probably telling the truth. You're the a-hole. Instead of trying to talk to him about why he's avoiding her, you just told him to stop avoiding her. It's obvious that there was a problem and you just didn't want to deal with it and hoped it would go away. Then it blew up and you kicked him out. You say you believe your sister because she isn't a liar. Is your boyfriend a liar? Do you have reason to not believe him? He was avoiding her for some reason. You just didn't bother to find out why. Story 3. This happened a while ago, but me and my roommate are in quarantine, and I still think I'm in the right in this situation, so we decided to put it to rest. A few months ago, I got a new job in a different state. My roommate, Anna, set me up with the interview and invited me to live with her rent-free while I got myself on my feet. Anna was an HR at the new company I was starting at and wanted to make a career change into sales, so she was going into interviews for new companies. Anyways, Anna was great. She honestly really helped me out in a tough time, and I ended up living with her rent-free for 6 months. And in that time, we worked together as well, until the end when Anna finally got a new position. I was extremely happy for her, and she was so excited as well. Her new boss wanted her to come into the office after work one day to sign the offer letter in person as well as take her out for dinner with her new team. Anna was ecstatic and dressed nicely for work that day as she would have to leave right at 5 in order to get into the city on time. Now here's where the issue comes in. Right around 4 to 4:30, Anna rushes over to my desk and I noticed that a blue pen has exploded all over her pink blouse. The colors matter because there was clearly no hiding it. The ink had ruined the shirt. Not even a washer was going to be able to get the color out. She asked me if we could change shirts so that she didn't have to go meet her new boss and team members with a ruined shirt, as she would look unprofessional. I told her no. She asked me why, and I told her I just didn't feel like switching shirts and wearing a stained shirt going home. Anna told me that it was ridiculous because I just had to drive home in the stained shirt and could change there, whereas she had to go straight into the city from work and had no option to go home to change beforehand. I told her it was my clothes and therefore my decision. I told her to ask another co-worker, to which Anna told me she couldn't, as she hadn't officially given her 2 weeks yet. She was going to do this after signing her offer letter and didn't want to explain to someone why they absolutely needed to switch shirts with her. I told her that wasn't my problem. Eventually, Anna ended up pulling a coworker aside and explaining the situation, and the coworker switched shirts with her. Anna looked pretty ridiculous as she was wearing white dress pants and the shirt she got was a white blouse, which I did feel sorta bad for, but I didn't feel bad for saying no. A lot of our mutual friends said I was being ridiculous and should have just switched with her. Edit. Honestly, I still don't really think I did anything wrong. At the end of the day, my property is my property and that's how I feel. Plus, Anna had just ruined her own shirt with ink. How could I trust that she wouldn't ruin mine? The reason I included everything about what Anna has done for me is because she really is an amazing friend and I respect the hell out of her. I didn't want to make it seem like I didn't appreciate everything she has done for me because I do. I just didn't want to give her my shirt and her and I were in a disagreement on that, so I decided to leave it to Reddit. I guess I'll accept my fate of you're the a-hole, but I still don't think people need to let friends use their things that they own. Now for some comments. If you don't do the right thing when it wouldn't impact you, even if it is your property and you're not obligated to, that makes you an a-hole. By that same token, she wasn't obligated to use her private property, but she did. Why? Because she is a good friend and you are not. At least accept that you're a bad person. Your life will be easier if you're not constantly trying to moralize your selfishness. Wow, not only are you the a-hole, you're also a terrible person. It's not just a matter of giving something to someone because it's the right thing to do. You aren't giving your shirt to a random person on the street. You'd have been giving it to a friend who showed you immense kindness when they had no need to do so. If they followed your own logic, you wouldn't have had a place to stay rent-free for half a frickin' year, no matter how bad your situation was. But I guess you're lucky you have a friend who actually has empathy, kindness, and compassion, unlike yourself. I just cannot fathom how you can't see how you're in the wrong here. Such a bad friend. There's a difference between required to and being an a-hole if you don't. You do not appreciate your friend or you would have helped. No way around that. You like what you get from her, but you don't actually appreciate it or you would have gladly helped her with the shirt situation. You are a taker and don't feel any need to give back to people that help you. Don't expect her to help you in the future. She's going to recognize eventually that you aren't actually a friend, but someone that just takes advantage of her kindness. Yes, small gestures like a shirt tell that much about you. You wouldn't even do something small to help someone that's given you hundreds if not thousands of dollars in free rent.